everyone. I'm Sarah, and welcome or welcome back to Coffee and Crochet with Sarah. Now, in case you don't know, we try every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Mountain Time to do a live video. Today, we're going to talk about what the April giveaway is. We're also going to talk about a couple of questions that I've received lately, and then I'll show you what's new this week at Posh Pooch Designs. So welcome, buckle up, Buttercup. We got a lot to do today. All righty, I see a bunch of you already commenting in. And so, as always, the very first thing we should do, although I do forget sometimes, let's clink in, say hello. We're here for, I should say, we're here for yarny fun. Clinkety, clink, clink, clink. All righty, now before we get started, I've decided that I want to start doing a shout out every week. And so this week, our shout out goes to Lisa Lark of Happy to Hook Creations. And it was kind of funny. I was looking at another video, and then this video, her YouTube channel, popped up in my suggestions. And I popped over there, and I just really like her. And I love her name, Lisa Lark. It's a great name to remember. And of course, those of you who know me know my precious sister that passed away a few years ago. Her name was Lisa. And so I love that name. And one thing, a couple of her videos that I watched, she was talking a lot about her craft shows. And you can get some really good information about what sells for her and what doesn't. She lives, I believe, she said in Illinois, maybe around the Chicago area, but I'm not exactly sure. But I really liked her, and so I really want to encourage you. I will put the link on my Facebook page as well as the link underneath the YouTube video for her YouTube channel. And that's Lisa Lark of Happy to Hook Creations. You'll really like her. I did instantly. All righty, now, are you ready to find out what the April giveaway is? I told you all I love this one. I want to keep it for myself, but I'm not, okay? I'm not going to keep it, I promise. And the winner is Sara SAch. No, just kidding. All right, so the April giveaway will consist of, oh, if I got it sideways. There we go. You'll receive one of our Coffee and Crochet with Sarah project bags. And let's see what's inside. Well, there is a white skein of Impeccable. There is a pink skein of Impeccable. And there's a blue skein of, or maybe a ball, because these are more like balls, of Impeccable. Okay, so you're going to receive one of each of these. These actual ones are the ones you'll receive. And each one has 4.5 ounces, which is 285 yards. One of each of these colors. You're going to receive these exact ones I'm showing you. A white, a pink, and a blue. They're all light, springy colors. And this is the thing I want to keep for myself. This is a kit. And it is a little Crochet Friends kit. This one is a little tiny bunny. See if I can get that not to be in the light so much. You know what? I'll just stick it over on this other camera so you can see it. There we go. And you get everything that's in here. You're going to get 100% acrylic yarn, a crochet hook that's a G, a plastic needle, the fiber fill, and instructions. Okay? It's on this little kit. There it is. Cute little bunny. And of course, you'll have the instructions. So with these other skeins, if you want to, if you're like me, I have 3 grandkids, and so I would probably make 3. All right, so you're getting the little bunny kit. and 3 skeins or balls of Impeccable. And these are all from Michael's. And of course, it's all going to be in the Coffee and Crochet with Sarah project bag. Isn't that a fun giveaway? And I know it's after Easter, you think, but bunnies are for any time of year. And that bunny is a nice little size one. And I think it would be super fun to make it some clothes. And you could make it like, you know, a 4th of July outfit or a Halloween outfit or Christmas or whatever you want. All the seasons you could make it some little clothes. And I'm sure it would be really fun and easy to do. And so that is our April giveaway. And I bet you're wondering how to get involved, right? Well, it's super easy. All you have to do to be entered in this April giveaway is to comment here on Facebook or comment here later on YouTube. All comments are entries. And your name just goes in once, so if you comment 100 times, you don't get 100 entries, okay? And what we do is we just shoot that over into a random generator. And whatever name comes up, we check to make sure you haven't won before for 2021, and then you're the winner, okay? So we're going to announce the winner in 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today on our live Tuesday video, I'll announce the winner. And then I'll tell you how to get a hold of me, but it's super simple. So good luck to everybody. It's such a great giveaway. All right, now we're going to talk about a question, but before we do, I'm going to get a quick sip of coffee. Coffee break. My voice is a little tired this morning, so bear with me if I clear my throat a few times. All right, let's talk about the question. And I mentioned this a little bit last week if you watched last week's video. And the question was, and I'm going to read it the way she sent it to me. What is the difference between stitching in the chain 2 or the chain 2 space? All right, let's go over to the other camera real quick. I've got something set up here. And I'll answer the question with my demonstration. So when you're stitching and the pattern says stitch in the chain 2 or chain 1 or chain 3 space, what that means is you're stitching in the space made by your chain 2. I'm going to pull this out. This is just a picnic blanket. You'll be seeing this soon for this summer. Okay, so I have a chain 2 space. My pattern says stitch 2 in the chain 2 space. All right, so I'm just going to stitch 2 double crochets around that chain 2. And that is stitching in the chain 2 space. All right. Now, sometimes a pattern will say stitch in the chain 2, and that's different. What that means, and I'm going to say usually, because remember, all pattern writers, do things differently. But what that means is you're going to actually stitch in those chain 2s. So we're stitching double crochets, so I'm going to go in that first chain itself and stitch my double crochet, and then I'll go in the next chain and stitch my double crochet. And sometimes a pattern, I'm just going to stitch another stitch there in that next double crochet. That way you can see how it lays. And sometimes with a pattern, they want it to be a solid row with no gapping. Okay, so like here we've stitched 2 double crochets in the chain 2 space, and it looks a little bit gappy, right? And that's okay if that's the way you want your pattern to look. But if you want it to be a little more even and straight, your pattern may say stitch in the actual chain 2s themselves. And that's the difference. Now, for me, if the pattern doesn't specify, I usually stitch it this way. If it just says stitch however many in the chain 2, I usually stitch it this way unless the pattern specifically says to stitch in the chains themselves. Okay, and I know that seems a little bit confusing, but you get a little bit different look. I have some of my dog sweater patterns where I have you stitching it this way because you're stitching across a belly band maybe, and so I want that to be one nice solid row, where when you stitch it in the space like this one down here, you're stitching around that chain. All right, I hope that answered that question. And like I said, there are lots of different ways that pattern writers word their patterns. I do try to give you as much information as possible without being too wordy. I have this thing where I don't, I don't, my chair rolling away on me. I don't like it when a pattern has too much wordy information. And when I say that, I'm not talking about what yarns to use or what hooks to use or stitches or anything like that. I'm talking about in the actual writing of the pattern where there's so much information that I just don't want to read it all. Okay? I try not to have my patterns like that, but I do try to give you as much information as I can because I want it to be easy for you. One of the things, I've told you all this probably lots and lots of times. I've been crocheting for over 40 years now, and I've been writing patterns. Many years ago, I used to write them and send them to magazines and newspapers. Sometimes they were used, sometimes they weren't. And back in those days, it was all about lots of abbreviations, and they were so confusing, you know. And so I try, mine are kind of a combination. Hi, Tina. I just saw her clink in. Hello, Tina Louise. But anyway, I try to do mine in a combination. Because every video that I do also has a blog where the pattern is written out. And I do a photo tutorial as well, if possible. Sometimes I forget and I'm like, oh, rats, and I got to redo it and take pictures. But, mistakes happen. But I try to do them in a combination of a written pattern that's not too wordy but has enough information, kind of a happy medium. And then I try to have lots of pictures but not too many pictures because it's so funny because I'm in some of the groups, on Facebook, and I go in some of these groups because I love the designers and I like to see what they're doing. But also I like to see the comments that people make when it comes to what they like and don't like on crochet patterns. And one person will say, oh, I hate videos. The next person will say, I love videos. Then another person will say, oh, there's just too many pictures on that pattern. Another person will say, I love all the pictures. And so you can't please everybody. And so I try to do as much as I can for different people. Okay. And some people tell me I love having a written pattern. I print it off and then I use it along with the video. And so, everybody is different. Some people are more visually, what do you call that? Need pictures more than someone who can just read it off. And a lot of people will read it off and it makes like no sense. It's like a foreign language. And a lot of ways, crochet is a foreign language with all those, abbreviations and stitches. And even now, so many people are renaming patterns. And so that can be a little bit confusing too. You look up one pattern and there's like 5 different names for that particular pattern or that particular stitch pattern. And so things like that can be very confusing. And so what I try to do is to keep it simple. As my mom always said, work smarter, not harder. I want you to enjoy crochet. I don't want it to be a struggle for you. And so that's why I kind of do that. I kind of have a combination of, I kind of write my own stuff, my own way. It's a combination of written and pictures and abbreviations and videos and, just try to, because I just still believe everybody should crochet. I don't care who you are. If I could teach my puppies to crochet, I would. Alrighty, so now if you're just tuning in and you missed the beginning of the video, that we talked about our shout out to Lisa Lark of Happy to Hook Creations, and then we also talked about our giveaway, all right? And then we did our question, and now I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what happened this week at Posh Pooch Designs. And we had some fun this week. One of the things we did yesterday was our little SAch hat. This is called the Sherbert Summer SAch hat. It's an open pattern, you can see, and they're super cute. They kind of have a slouchy feel to them. And the neat thing about this pattern is it comes in 5 sizes. Let me pick up all these hats. We have an adult, we have a youth, we have a child, we have a toddler, and we have a baby size. And the neat thing about the baby size, as you can see, it fits the 18-inch dolls that are the American Girl dolls. And you could make a Dolly and Me hat for you and or for your daughter and her doll. You could make a Mommy and Me or a Daddy and Me hat, because this pattern, you can see like this one's blue, would work fine for the boys and the girls and the guys and the women and everybody. Make one for everyone in your family and use whatever colors that you want to. Because we've got, here's the striping yarn. Here's the ombre yarn. This is a variegated. This is a solid. And so you can use any medium weight number 4 yarn. And when you live in Colorado, like I do, having a summer hat is very important if you want to just run up to the mountains or whatever. And sometimes in the cool morning or cool evening, you just want to pop one on so that you can be warm in the winter. Alrighty, now the other thing we did this week was did we pop out and in? My computer just went ding-a-ling, you heard it. Anyway, we did the April table runner, and it's similar to another table runner that I did, only it has a more open and lacy feel to it. Has a nice little trim, and you can make it as long as you want to. This one was for my table to put in the center of my Easter table. All right, and it's super easy. And of course, I did this one in pastels for Easter. I just used up some of my extra leftover Easter color or spring color yarns. But this would be beautiful in any of your ombres, in any of your striping yarns, solids, any colors that you wanted to make it. I think it would be beautiful in all in white or an off-white. Wouldn't that be pretty? And so that is our, it's called the April Table Runner. I called it April because it's the month. And it's super pretty. All right, now the other thing that we did was a new headscarf. You can see my girl back there is wearing the bright one. I love that one. It reminds me of when we went on vacation to Jamaica and all those bright colors. I just love it. A lipstick on my tooth there. And then I made this one, and it's really cute. I want you to see the back of it. It has the row of the 2 double crochet clusters down the center. And it's really super easy to adjust. Here's the blue one that I did for our demo. And it's really easy to adjust because all you're going to do is make this as long as your head. The pattern measures about 22, but keep in mind, we're doing this on a double crochet foundation and it's very stretchy, okay? And so you want to measure your head, and I would say subtract 2 inches. I have about a 20-inch head, and so I made mine about 18 inches. And because it's very stretchy, and if you make it too big, it's going to slide and probably fall off. But I love to wear these when I'm working in the yard or in the garden, because I'll put my hair up, put it in a ponytail, but you know all those wispy hairs that fly everywhere? This is going to keep those out of your hair, and you're going to look super cute doing it. They're also fun if you're just going to run to the supermarket, or for me, if you're just going to run to Hobby Lobby, you know, or Michael's or Joann's, you can pop this on. It's going to keep your hair out of your face, and you're going to look cute. And you don't have to worry about having a bad hair day because you're wearing a cute headscarf. So those are super fun. Now we have a lot of fun things coming. I am working on a crochet along, probably in May. I'm not exactly sure. But it's going to be a shopping bag. It's going to be the ladies' tote bag. This is a pattern I wrote a few years ago, and I've had lots of requests to do a new video for it. And I found the perfect yarn for it. But be prepared. It is going to be a lost my train of thought. It is going to be a crochet along. We're going to do it in 4 sections. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. And it's going to be a nice size shopping bag. And it's called the ladies tote bag, but you know, whatever colors you use, whatever, it's not just for the ladies. It's for everybody because everybody shops, right? We have that coming. And then I'm getting ready to do a series on some fun summer things like bathing suit cover-ups, and I've got a little bathing suit skirt. Um, just some other sun hats and fun things because summer is coming. Although we have in our forecast today, we've got cold rain turning to snow overnight. But the thing about the spring snows up here is they dump a bunch of snow and it melts really fast because the sun comes out almost every day here in Colorado. Rarely does the sun not shine bright here. So, anyway, I know a lot of people are thinking about spring and summer planting and getting ready. We can't do any planting until after Mother's Day because we always end up getting a hard freeze. And I'm so worried. My apple tree out front, I have a burgundy wine apple tree that makes the most magnificent, beautiful, bright pink flowers. And I planted it in memory of my mom because she loved bright pink flowers. And so I planted it out there in memory for my mom, and it's been planted about 6, 7 years now, and it's getting big. Last year we had a late freeze, and I had no blooms and no apples. And it's a little small apple, maybe not even the size of my fist, just tiny. And they fall off the trees, and I let the deer come and eat them. And they're not like, they don't taste good to us. And so my husband will go out there and he'll shake the tree, and all that little apples will fall off, and then the deer will come and eat all the apples. The squirrels eat them too. Although I didn't know squirrels ate apples. You never know. We have had raccoons come and get them also. So anyway, I'm hoping we don't get a hard freeze because my apple tree is starting to bud. So anywho, that is all I've got for you today. I hope you understand about the chain two. And just remember, the key to knowing whether to stitch in the chain two space or in the chain two itself is what the pattern reads. And hopefully most patterns will give you a picture, and you can look at that as well. Um, for, for me, if you read my patterns, I'll specifically say chain two space or chain two or 1 or 5, whatever chains. But the truth of the matter is, if all else fails, you can contact the crochet pattern designer and just ask her. Okay, now remember, if you have any questions, none of them are dumb, none of them at all are not worth asking. Even if you think it's a silly question, you can send me an email, or you can contact me on the Posh Pooch Designs page and send me a message, or you can comment on the blog or on Facebook if you have a question, okay? And sometimes I can answer it online. Sometimes I'll answer it right to you. And the reason I'll do that sometimes is because if it's a really long, kind of drawn out explanation that's really hard to cover, I might do that. But I love answering your questions, and I never feel like it's not important, okay? All of your questions are important to me because, again, I want everybody to crochet and enjoy crocheting. All righty. Well, I want to thank you all for tuning in today. Thank you for being a part of Posh Pooch Designs. Thank you for being a part of Coffee and Crochet with Sarah. And thank you because, as I always say, I can't do this without all of you. Big thanks, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.